Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to get this makeup look done. It is full glam makeup, so I hope that you sit back, you get a snack because it's going to be sort of a long video, and you hang out with me. So for this look, I've already put some hair clips in my hair to pin them back so it's not in my face. My face actually has nothing on it right now. I'm going to go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream just to give me a little boost. Right after this, I'm gonna go in with my primer. Let's go in with this one, the Fenty Beauty Primer. And I'm just gonna focus this in my T-zone area. Now that that is lathered all over my face, I am going in with the SmashBox Studio Skin 15-hour long wear foundation. I really like this foundation because I like my skin to have a more dewy look, and I find that this does a really good job and it takes really good photos. Just dab it on there, and then I'm going to go in and start lightly blending. We're gonna do a really good like blown out smoky eye. Make sure that you blend the foundation all the way down your neck. I know that some of us have like different tones in our face compared to the rest of us, so we always have to make sure that our stuff is blended completely. After that, what I usually do is go in with my damp beauty blender and just try to tap the product in. I want to marry it with my skin. As you can see, I don't have the best of coverage right now, but my skin still does look like skin, and that's okay because I am going to go in with concealer. I'm using this one from Too Faced, the Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer, and I'm just gonna dot it on the areas that I want more coverage. This concealer is closer to my skin tone, so it does act like foundation. And I like it because even though it's heavy, it's lightweight, if that makes any sense at all. I'm gonna go in and start to gently tap around the spots that I want to blend in while leaving the area that I want covered, kind of still covered, or with the most product on it. I'm not gonna blend that area just yet. I'm gonna just blend around it before I go in then and just gently tap over it. We're just pulling it out. As you see, I still haven't tapped on top of the spot yet. I'm just making sure that I'm blending the rest of it around into the foundation. Same thing I'm gonna do over on this side. So now that that is kind of in, what I'm gonna do is go back to the beauty blender. With the skin, I always want to make sure that every product goes together, and as I like to say, they're married. You want to make sure you get into your hairline and that you don't skip anywhere because that's gonna look a hot mess. Now that the base is sort of complete, and I say sort of because normally if I were not doing such a dramatic eye, I would now go in with my concealer underneath my eye, but I'm not going to do that just because I am trying to do really blown out smoky eye, halo eye I should say. What I like to do is use my Anastasia Brow Wiz in dark brown, and I do have naturally thick brows already, so I just like to go in and just follow what's already there so that I am not making any harsh lines. And then once I'm done, to create a little bit more, I'll just go in and go up and down just like that. So we're gonna push it up, push it up. I like to see hair that is pushed all the way up right at the front, and then it just combed back like that. To me, there's just something about it. I'm just gonna comb. And then once again, I'll just make the strokes underneath and come forward. Do doing it like this really lightly so that it's blended. But you see how like there is a line down there? I don't want that line there, so I will go back in with my concealer. Some people use foundation for this. Today I will actually just continue along with the concealer. From here, and just pull that up. We want to get as close as possible because we really want to make sure that that shade is coming through. Right now my brows are not waxed. Hello.
Why does your face look like that? Did you have breakfast already for the day?
Yes, I did. I had 2 eggs.
What time was that?
7:30.
7:30. 7:30. 8:30. So you only had 1 meal so far for the day?
Yeah, I only had 1 meal.
Are you gearing up for meal too soon?
Yes, please.
Please don't be late with the protein shake meal. All right, I will check back in with you a little later to see if you're keeping on track.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, bye. That is my trainer. Anyways, going back to the makeup. I'm gonna go here and kind of do the same thing. So now I just go, I don't do this often, but just when I want my brows to be as clean as possible, I just go up here and kind of clean up a little bit. See? I'm gonna go above here really quickly and just kind of move the concealer into the foundation to make sure that it is going in, that we don't have like these distinct lines, right? So now I am just going to go in all over my lid, some Studio Fix just to even it out a little bit, just to make sure that the concealer is kind of set. So nothing too fancy, this is all I do. I am going to go in with the Pat McGrath Labs Bronze Ambition palette. This is one of my absolute favorites at the moment. And I'm going to go in with the darkest shade. I'm just gonna go straight in with that and pop it right here. Okay, so you see how I am just pulling that like 1/3 of a way in, like that. Now I'm gonna go on the outside, on the outer third, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna kind of tilt my head and start from here and just start like blending up into the crease, like that. And it's kind of giving me the halo effect. So what I'm gonna do is put a little more product and kind of stipple. And then at the top, I'm going to just connect the very top of it. As you could tell, I have a little bit of fallout. So that's why I didn't put the concealer yet, because once I kind of brush this off, the concealer is going to help me block out any of that stuff. Now that that's done, I will go in with the same palette with the brown matte shade. I'll just go over the top of it like this, just to blend it. That, see, I don't want like any harsh lines or anything. I'm just gonna do that. I stumbled upon this company, JD Glow Cosmetics. I love their shimmers and their metallics. Is it called? Are they called metallics? This one is called Fairy Acid from their Galaxy collection. So I'm going to pick that up, and even though I don't have to, I'm just gonna spray some Olay Mist and tap. Can you see that? I know it looks crazy right now, but I like to concentrate most of the shadow at the bottom. So and then I kind of like just go up and feather it out. So once that is on, what I would do is take a flat brush like this. I'm just going to gently blend it out. We're gonna go back to the blending brush, go back to the darker color from the palette, and we're just gonna go through the crease and above it. Kind of drag the color a little bit around. Remember, this is a full glam eye, so this is not an eye that you would do to go to work or if you're going on a date to the beach or anything like that. This is literally full glam. This is New Year's Eve. This is like a ball event. This is prom. This is graduation. It still doesn't look quite amazing yet, but you wait and see. For the inner corner, I'm going to go in with the same shadow from JD Glow Cosmetics, and I'm just going to pop it here. Okay, once that's done, I am going to take a liner. Today I'm going to use, I'll use liquid. Today I'm using the one from IT Cosmetics, their superhero liner. And I'm just going to tight line the lash line because I am going to put some lashes on. When you're doing this, you always want to start from the middle of the eye and you go and you make tiny strokes. Don't ever draw from here over here, unless I mean, you know, you have a technique that I don't know if that works, and if you do, then share it with me. Okay, so now that that is already lined, I am gonna go in with the McGrath Labs Fetish Eyes Mascara. This mascara is really something special, but I am not going to show you guys how special it is today because I don't need two coats since I'm already going in with lashes. I like to put my lashes on after I've done this step because I don't like to get the mascara in the lashes. I think it makes it heavy and too clumpy, but I know that some people like doing that, and that's fine too, but this is just my preferred way of doing it. If I were not going in with false lashes, I could just put 2 coats of this on and I would be literally golden. Now I'm going in with the Lilly Lashes from the Sephora collection. These are not my favorite lashes, but they're very dramatic, and today, guess what we're going for? Drama. I'm using the Duo Lash Glue. I'm gonna put a generous amount of glue onto the lashes. When it's properly coated and it looks like this, then I just wiggle it around for a little bit. Today I am going to use a tweezer. What you want to do is hold it as close to the band as possible, and then because I'm holding it almost in the middle, and then you look down. Bring my mirror closer. Then you look down and place it exactly where you want to. I like to do the back end first, and then I'll come in and put the front end down. Look what a difference that makes. I'm just gonna take this pencil liner from Lancome, their Khol liner. I'm going to get my waterline. Does it have to be too black in here? Because I am gonna come down and smudge out the shadow beneath that. Good. So now I'm going to take this Lancome brush, go in with the darkest shadow that we used up top from the Bronze Ambition palette. Now we're going to try to connect here. We're just going to place that tightly underneath there, just for a little bit of a darker effect underneath the eye. I am going to use the same brush, but I'm going in with the matte brown and just putting it right underneath there. This just softens it so it doesn't look as though it's just start and stop. For me, a huge part of doing natural looking makeup is having everything kind of look as though it is it's together still, so no harsh lines or anything like that, unless of course you're doing like special effects makeup or like a cut crease or anything that is kind of defining But today we're not doing a cut crease or anything like that. We're just doing this smoky, so there should be no harsh lines. So now that I have all of this glitter on my under eyes, I am going to clean it up with concealer. This is the one that is the same thing as my skin tone, and I'm just going to take it and cover everywhere that I want. So see, I put that there, but I didn't go over the shadow. And I'm going to blend this out first with a brush, just around here again, so that the most product is left where I want it to be left. I am not a fan of like, oh god, that is the worst line I have ever drawn. So guess what? I'm gonna have to make it bigger. I'm not a big fan of contouring my nose. What was I just about to say? But I do like to highlight the center. That is also the biggest line I've ever drawn. Now I'm going to take the Beauty Blender and I'm going to go in now and just tap, 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 tap as lightly around the eye as you can. You're still going to have to go in with shadow because again, we don't want to have any harsh lines. What I will go ahead and do now is just post the rest of my face. Now I am going to brighten a little bit, and to do that I'm going to use the same concealer in Butterscotch. So I'm just going to go right here. This is where I want to brighten the most, like right here. I go back in now with a different beauty sponge. I don't know who this is by, but I like it because it's harder than the Beauty Blender, so it helps me get a little bit more precise, and I could also squeeze it and you know, if I want something more specific. So I take the back of this, then this is just because of the way my face is shaped, and then I just squeeze and then I go this. So now I'm going to blend out the middle here. See, my nose is good. Now, as usual, we're just going to squeeze the Beauty Blender. So it looks like this. So we're going to tap. Now for setting the under eyes and going back in and just making everything look. If you see, you can see clearly where the shadow ended and where the concealer began. We don't want that. We actually want everything to look very natural. So I'm going to go in with my Studio Fix powder. See, I'm just tapping it. I am not swiping because we don't want to move any of the concealing products that we just laid down there. We just want to make sure that it is set. So we're just going to tap it in. Because of how extra this look is and because it involves glitters and stuff like that, we have to make sure that we kind of go back and forth with some of these steps. So now that we are under here, we have to now go back in and make sure that there's no clear line between the concealer and the shadow. So we're now going to go back and just go in and just make sure that it comes over the concealer. And when you're doing this, do it with a light hand. I don't like to bake my under eye. Usually I would say that if you're not very comfortable doing this, you can go in with translucent powder now over what has already been set, and you can lay that down there so that if there's any fallout, the powder can catch it and you could like sweep it away. So that's it for the eyes right now. Now we're going to continue along with the rest of the face. I am going to use my Morphe BronTour to give me a little bit of definition here. So I'm just going to start right here and just lightly. I like to lightly, anytime I'm doing my face, I like to lightly pull the product down and through. And then once it's pulled down, then I go up I turn this brush. This is the Morphe E4 brush. This is my cheekbone right here. I like to put my contour above it. I don't go even though like I have like a 5 head or a 10 head, some might even say. I actually don't like to you know, to cover it up. I actually really like my 5 head. What I also like to do is bring it like close to my, what do you call that, like that area, this area, almost to have it like a blush, because I like how it mixes with the blush. Remember I said that everything that I do, I like to make sure everything comes together. So I like to kind of mix my bronzer or my contour with my brush, of course, my blush. And when I put my highlight on, I usually I use a beauty blender to actually, we'll get to that step, you'll see. Like, I'm very aggressive with down here because I want to make sure that it's blended. Oh my god, there have been so many times that I have left the house when I had used like cream contour for this part, that I would leave, you see that? That I would leave the house and not have the shits blended. Yeah, so now that that is done, I am going to go back to my eyebrows and set them with my Anastasia brow gel, I think. I'm going to go back now because now my eyes are done. I don't like for my brows to look too set. I like them to look clean but still very rowdy, if that makes sense. Let me know, comment below and let me know how you like your brows to look. And now I will go in with my Sephora Microsmooth powder. This is like heavenly. This powder is so light that it's like, if I do that, this is how it comes out on the brush, and then this is what I do typically. I just pack it on underneath. Now my face will have this airbrushed finished look, and the contour becomes a little bit more defined, which is what I like, especially for hair, like all the way back here. When the blush comes on, the blush will look a little bit more rosy, so it'll come down a little bit more. But for my contour, that's what I like. And then I like to kind of go here and stipple over what I would have already done. That way it's giving my face that smoothing effect without making it look too cakey. Once I'm done, this is what I typically do as well. I take some of the powder and I just press it in here, just so that around my smile lines, because when I smile, because I tend to smile a lot, when I smile I tend to get lined, so this powder helps to make sure that that's not what's happening. Okay, so once the powder is done, I move on to blush. Today I'm using my MAC Mineralize blush in Warm Soul. I'm gonna pick back up the E4 brush from Morphe, and then I'm just gonna place this right here on my cheek. Okay, so now I like to again go in with my beauty blender and blend on top of it and at the bottom, just pushing in the blush into my skin. That's why I apply so much, so that when I push it in, obviously some of the product is going to come off in the sponge, but it's not going to make that big of a difference, because then I would have already achieved the look that I wanted to go for. And For me, I keep going over my face like this because I want to make sure that I don't miss any parts at all, and that everything that I want to look in a particular way looks the way that I want it to look. Now I'm going to go in. I fell in love with this Wet n Wild highlighting powder. This is just so good, and I just put it on the sponge and see that, just lightly. I don't like to OD on the highlighters. Just a little bit. When I finish that, I'll just go right here just to add a little bit of something, and then right here. Now I will go back in with this sponge, this different sponge, using the bottom again. I'm just going to tap, and I'm going over all the products, so all of it is going everywhere in very light amounts. I am now going to move on to my lips. Today I am going really bold with this Ruby Woo from MAC Cosmetics. Okay, now moving on to the lower lashes, I am just going to put on some mascara under there, but what I'm going to do is to prime the lashes with this Lancome primer. For my under lashes, I'm going to use the Too Faced Damn Girl mascara just because it's a bit more clumpy and I don't have a lot going on under here, so I actually want the clump to make it look like I have more lashes under here than I actually do. Finally, what I'm going to do is go into the Natasha Denona palette, and I'm just going to use the white shade in here. And I'm just, the brush is semi-wet, so it's actually quite damp, so I just, you know. So I'm moving on again. I'm just going on to the other eye. Again, you want to make sure that you're tapping off your shadows before you put it on, because you can always put more shadow on. It's harder to take it off, especially when you're now in your final stages of look. And just popping it right here. That's what I'm going for. My look, guys, is complete. So this is the final look. And let me know what you think in the comment section below. And obviously thumbs up this video if you like the look that I created.